Get out your jack-o'-lanterns, hang up some decorative cobwebs that you won't take down until New Year's Eve, and start stuffing candy corn into your cheeks by the handful, because it is officially the spookiest season of the year. There's no better way to celebrate Halloween than with some classic TV Halloween special episodes. But put your little goblins to bed because some might be scarier than a box of raisins in your candy bag. Take a sec to hit that red subscribe button and give the notification bell a ring so you can stay up to date with the most ghoulishly great content from Screen Rant. The Twilight Zone. Alright. So it's not strictly a Halloween special, but there's no way around it. When it comes to creepy TV, nobody did it better than The Twilight Zone. Just think about every episode as if it's a Halloween special and you're in business. And you won't be disappointed, guaranteed. There are so many amazingly disturbing episodes to choose from that we could do an entire video all about The Twilight Zone on its own. But when it comes to downright spooky, we had to go with Eye of the Beholder. This episode is from Season 2, in which we are led to believe that a woman named Janet Tyler has undergone some form of gruesome facial surgery. Her doctors are completely horrified by her face, describing it as a pitiful lump of twisted flesh. You know, classic bedside manner conversations, not at all unprofessional. The real twist kicks in when they finally unwrap her bandages to reveal that Janet is just a normal-looking woman, and the rest of the town are horribly deformed monsters of which Janet is the outcast. The suspense builds and builds and builds over the episode's 21 minutes as we get more and more desperate to know what is under her full-face bandages, and why everyone else's head is in shadow. And when the payoff happens, it is pure Twilight Zone terror. Goosebumps. If you were a kid in the 1990s and you or any of your friends had cable, you were absolutely watching Goosebumps. The Canadian horror anthology show based off the classic R.L. Stine books was a massive hit, and for good reason. It was actually really creepy, with scary stories, extremely unsettling masks and early special effects, more fog than an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and it wasn't afraid to scare the crap out of kids a little bit. But it did all this without ever losing its sense of fun, which altogether made for an awesome show. The first episode is, perfectly enough, a two-part Halloween special called The Haunted Mask. It kicked off the show in a huge way and is without a doubt one of the scariest episodes of all 4 seasons. There's no easing kids into the world of Goosebumps with some lighter material. The Haunted Mask didn't come to play. The story of a mask that each time it is worn becomes more and more attached until it pulls a Pinocchio and becomes the ugliest real boy you've ever seen in your life is still super chilling to this day. And even though the special effects are from 1995, the mask itself is no less disgusting and even more perfect for Halloween. Martha Stewart. There are some things so scary, so gruesome, so downright demonic that they should never even be spoken of, because even saying their name might evoke an uncontrollable evil. Things that go bump in the night and make you wake up, clutching your chest in a cold sweat, and thanking your lucky stars that it was only a dream. For Martha Stewart, those things are ethical stock trading practices and her probably bedazzled ankle monitor. Okay, obligatory Martha Stewart prison joke over. Now on to her classic Martha Stewart Living Halloween special from Season 1. For the generation who have newly rediscovered the magic of Bob Ross, this special is absolutely perfect. It's unintentionally hilarious as Martha spends a good chunk of her time with a homemade bird's nest fastened to the top of her head before moving on to cut out witches and pumpkins out of just a regular old piece of cardboard and making caramel apples. Towards the end of the episode, she changes from bird's nest woman into her costume painting costume. Seriously, which is just a very dangly hat that she wears to make a child's skeleton costume. The best part of the whole thing is when she pulls out the most terrifying starfish costume that anyone has ever laid eyes on. Seriously, it's worth the wait. American Horror Story. While American Horror Story's latest season, Apocalypse, has been a much-needed return to the classically campy Ryan Murphy style so far, there is no better AHS Halloween special than the original. We're talking Season 1, aka Murder House. The show appeared on TV and really blew everyone away with the idea that television could be seriously horrifying, captivating, disgusting, and really, really fun all at the same time. They celebrate the season in every season, but really, this two-part Halloween special just set the bar sky high. The perfect setting for Halloween night is a house filled with ghosts who can't seem to find their way out, as the common belief is that it is the one night a year that ghosts can walk freely among the living. We get the backstory of Chad and Patrick and the origin of the terrifying Rubber Man. The Addie and Constance storyline is heartbreaking, and really lets Jessica Lange work her magic to the fullest. Along with that, there's the terrifying revelation that Vivian's baby is definitely more demonic than they thought, Moira visits her mother in the hospital and once again breaks our little hearts, and on top of it, Tate is confronted with the victims of his shooting. It is a wild ride, and a perfect example of how the world got totally hooked on American Horror Story. Stranger Things. For a show that nails 1980s nostalgia in a way that even its stars are too young to fully understand, Stranger Things really outdid itself with the Halloween episode from season 2. The creators of this show are amazing at plopping their audience down into a very specific moment in time and really letting us feel like we're right there with the characters. In a scene that makes all of our embarrassing memories from early childhood come flooding back up, the gang have all put so much work and care into their Ghostbusters costumes, only to show up at school as the only ones who dressed up for the day. That alone is scary enough to give us nightmares, even without the Demogorgon and the Upside Down. The trick-or-treating scenes feel all too real and familiar, especially with the inclusion of the new girl Max, who shows up as Michael Myers and throws their whole Ghostbusters scene out of whack. And then there's the storyline of Nancy and Steve at the Halloween party, in which Nancy has a little too much to drink and things get out of hand. The best part of this is their subtle and totally on-point costumes, which you might not even realize are an homage to the Tom Cruise classic Risky Business. Community. Oh, Community. You were too perfect for this world. The Dan Harmon created show about a bunch of misfits who band together at Greendale Community College had a short and tumultuous run. But man, while it lasted, was just one of the best things ever. It was packed with amazing characters, storylines, film and TV references, and bizarrely perfect writing for all of the incredible actors who made it what it was. And the Halloween episode from season 2 shows off all that good stuff perfectly. Epidemiology's plot is simple. The dean has accidentally fed the inhabitants of the school expired army rations, which have the unfortunate effect of turning whoever eats them into a sort of zombie. And the school's Halloween party is the perfect setting for the eventual zombie apocalypse. Pierce is the first to go, but the rest of the school is quick to follow. Everyone is eventually taken down, with the final 3 survivors being Troy, Abed, and the dean. This episode is jam-packed with zombie movie and Star Wars references set to, weirdly enough, an ABBA soundtrack, but also follows a very real internal struggle for Troy. That balance of absurd hilarity and heart was what made Community such a perfect show, and Epidemiology a perfect Halloween episode for the whole family. Scream Queens. With a name like Scream Queens, it's almost a given that the show was going to deliver some pretty awesome Halloween material, and boy did it. Scream Queens was built to be the perfect blend of funny, campy, scary, evilly goodness, which is the perfect recipe to set up our favorite holiday in style. And with Ryan Murphy at the helm, stylish is exactly what we got. Of the 2 Halloween-themed episodes, the absolute best was from season 2, which aired in 2016. The opening shot of Chanel dressed as Jackie O screaming over Chad's bloodied corpse in the morgue, only to find out that she had gone home and changed into her Halloween costume for the occasion, is so dark and eyebrow-raising that it really starts the episode off with a bang. Too soon? After that, the madness accelerates with the classic Chanel-oween Taylor Swift's Swiftmas parody that keeps on giving. A prescription for colloidal silver turning Chanel the perfect blue to pull off a Smurfette costume, and Lea Michele behind bars doing her best Hannibal Lecter impersonation. And with the green meanie still at large, there is actually a lot of really solid scariness going on underneath all the camp, but Jamie Lee Curtis as Dean Munch, dressed like Alexander Hamilton, circa the Broadway hit of course, is the perfect cherry on top. Freaks and Geeks. Another show that wasn't quite appreciated enough in its time was of course Freaks and Geeks, and their Halloween episode, Tricks and Treats, is full of so many perfect and amazing moments that it is an instant classic. While it's not typically scary or full of jump scares and masked murderers, the sheer awkwardness and cringeworthy earnestness that we get from every single character makes this one of the scariest episodes of all. First off, the costumes. Watching Sam, Neil, and Bill get ready to go trick-or-treating is one of the best scenes of TV history. Bill's bionic woman costume that is literally just his mom's most shoulder-padded blouse and pleated pants with a gray wig is just too good to be true. Neil trying to transform into Groucho Marx but ending up more like Tom Selleck, and Sam in his perfectly homemade robot costume, all set to Gonna Raise Hell by Cheap Trick, is a pitch-perfect reminder of what Halloween used to be when we were kids. The other story, with Gene hoping to stay home with Lindsay to pass out cookies before it all goes awry, is also amazing. First, Gene finds out that Lindsay is ditching her, and then that kids are no longer allowed to take unwrapped treats, is honest, sweet, and pitch perfect. The Simpsons. And finally, there is no question that the absolute king of Halloween specials is, of course, The Simpsons. While they may not be quite as magical as they were back in The Simpsons' heyday, when they were good, they were the best. Again, we really can't choose just one, and highly suggest you pull an all-nighter Treehouse of Horror marathon to celebrate. From the first ever Treehouse of Horror in Season 2 with James Earl Jones' rendition of The Raven, all the way to Pierce Brosnan-voiced Ultra House 3000 in Season 13, it seemed for a while that when it came to Halloween, The Simpsons could do no wrong. There have been a ton of spot-on Twilight Zone parodies, like Bart's Nightmare in which he turns Homer into a Jack-in-the-Box, the cursed Krusty doll that comes with a free Frogurt, also cursed, Homer's adventure into 3D, and our favorite, Terror at 5.5 feet, with the gremlin on the side of the bus. And no, we're not talking about Hans Moleman. Another honorable mention, because we really could go on for hours, is The Shinning. No parody has ever been so perfect as The Simpsons' take on the Stanley Kubrick classic, and for that reason, it stands out as possibly the best Halloween special of all time. So, what do you think about this collection of horrifying and hilarious Halloween specials? Are you a fan of the holiday, or more likely to stay indoors and count down the days until Christmas? What are your favorite Halloween episodes? Let us know down below, and hit that subscribe button on your way out to keep up with the latest from Screen Rant. Thanks for watching.